I'd like to call the Community Equity Commission session together for Thursday, May 15th, 2025. And let's go ahead and go for the roll call at this time.
Commissioner Agawamba, Commissioner Ahmed. Here. Commissioner John Grass.
Here.
Chair Lewis Miller.
Here.
Commissioner Messias. Commissioner Mukalil. Commissioner Nelson.
Here.
Commissioner Schultz.
Here.
At this time, please join us in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Chair, I'd like to note our new ceremonial flag in the City Council chambers. Thin blue line.
Yes, we do have it. Thank you. The new flag. And, which one's this? Yes. All right, thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. All right, do we have any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda?
Chair and Commission, there is none from staff.
None at this time. Okay, do we have approval of the minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes.
Point of order, do we need to approve the agenda?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, let's back up. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Commissioner Nelson, I move we approve the agenda.
Do we have a second?
Commissioner John Grass would second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Approval of the minutes from April 17th, 2025, and we had a motion.
Commissioner Ahmed, yes, I move that we approve the minutes.
Thank you. Second to that?
I'll second that, Commissioner Schultz.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes have been approved. Going right into business, our first point of discussion is the 2026 budget request priorities. We talked about this at our last meeting, and at this meeting, we were going to prioritize those in order to present these for the 2026 budget to the City Council. And we do have a handout from Chris, and he put down all four that have been submitted. And is there any discussion at this time as to the order of these four items?
I did have one clarifying question. How many members voted in this?
Chair and Commission, 5 members voted in this. Everyone received the invite. Some members may have chosen not to, but this is what the final tally looks like.
And there was another point of interest at the last meeting to look at possibly combining, I believe this was by Commissioner Nelson, combining the general cultural event with the art-based cultural event. You know, whatever that may look like, we would have to define that later. Are there any discussions about that or considerations for that?
Chair and Commission, I think one thing to note, I think the initial proposal was 2 cultural events and then also an art event as a separate item. And I think through the conversation of the Commission, there was an interest in doing just one cultural event and one kind of art-based cultural event, just to make planning easier. But I think, again, kind of whatever this Commission wants to put forward in terms of priorities, we'll submit.
Any discussion on that?
Yeah, the comment I have is let's see what the funding looks like before we, if it's tight, we can maybe look at combining.
So at this point, would we like to submit them as they are listed on this sheet? And then we just have to wait and see what our budget's going to be to decide how we're going to work these 4 items out.
Chair and Commission, I think what staff would ask of this Commission is a motion to basically push forward this 2026 budget proposal with the projects prioritized as such, if they're comfortable with that.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion to we already decided on the 3,000 to submit at the last meeting, so do we have a proposal to accept and push forward the 4 items listed on this sheet? Yes.
Question, can we add to the motion stating that priorities can be changed by the commission as deemed necessary in the event if we don't get the 3,000 and we decide maybe to come back as a team, and are we going to combine 3 and 4, or can we have that as a caveat in the motion? Is that an option? Just for example, if you get maybe like 1,500, for example, and then we're like, okay, so which one of these should we eliminate? Which one should we reprioritize at that time?
Chair and Commission, I think if you wanted to add something to the motion to that effect, I think that would be very understandable. As like maybe you just make a motion, we prioritize these as fiscally feasible, or honestly just feasible generally. Something to that effect too, I think is a good sort of little caveat to give yourself an escape hatch if all of a sudden you can't do this and you want to move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
the comment I had is a lot of times when you're asking for a budget, if you give them a way out, then it might go down the path, you know. I would much rather ask, and if you don't get the whole amount, of course, we're gonna come back and reprioritize. But normally, when I'm asking for something, I don't say what I'm gonna do if I don't get it, just as a process.
So
be my
Commissioner
thought.
Ahmed, you're saying just leave it
Just
and don't
ask
say,
it, and if
Yeah.
it doesn't come back, of course, we're gonna come and sit down and have to reprioritize. But telling the people that are approving that if you don't give me the whole really amount, it just seems maybe not the right time right now to give them that way out. Is the best way to put it.
Chair and Commission, I would say that generally, city, it's interesting the difference. That's kind of how we function. We say, all right, we need, $25,000 for X, Y, and Z. If you come back with 10, then again, you can do X and Y. If you come back with 5, you're getting half a Z. So I think that's kind of traditionally how we've done it. I'm very flexible. I think this is a really just great opportunity to have this sort of conversation with the council about these requests. But I would defer to whatever the commission wants to do.
If I may clarify, Chair, so I didn't want to change the amount. I wanted to clarify the priorities for this, the options. So I think it wasn't about the amount. It was more, in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, if we decide to scale that or combine. So it wasn't about the amount.
All right.
But I get what you're saying. So yeah.
okay. So are we in agreement to leave the list the way it is?
Yep.
Are we okay with that? All right. Okay. Do we need to vote on that?
I think it would be stronger if there was a motion to basically move forward this as a list of priorities, if possible. I like that, the get out option there too. So
So do we have a motion to accept the 4 items listed as they are listed to submit to the council along with the $3,000 budget that we're going to submit? Motion.
Do you want someone to make a motion, or are you making the motion, then someone else can second it?
Yeah, why don't you, I shouldn't make the motion, you should, someone should make the motion.
Could I ask a point of clarity? Did you say to include the clause at the end about that we would retain the right to?
I don't think it hurts
Okay.
for flexibility.
Okay.
Oh,
I would be happy to make a motion, Commissioner Nelson, that we submit a request to City Council for $3,000 for funding to carry out work as outlined by the Ready Task Force, with the priorities established to go with that request, the 4 items. And if that funding varies from the amount requested, that the CEC would retain the right to reprioritize those 4 items.
do we have a second to that motion?
Commissioner Ahmed, I seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, moving on discussion on Juneteenth celebration for Savage. And I know we have a lot of items that have been addressed. And Chris, would you like to go over some of those items?
Sure, very excited. So just a refresher for everyone. So we have June 19th. We have the Juneteenth scheduled at the ELC here. I think an item for us to finalize here is the time. I think we set from 6 to 8. I just want to make sure that's our final time, so then we can move forward with promoting that out in the newsletter. So I'm just sort of highlighting that as something to make a decision on. I have reached out to the library to see if they can pull together kind of a list of books and have them available. They seem interested. I've not gotten a confirmation yet that they can participate, but I will inform this group as I hear. The mayor was very excited to be invited to participate. So she said she could read a story or just speak generally, so we can work with her to kind of figure out what we want to see from that. We reached out to Native Catering, that's Medwalkin and Sue's group there, because we were kind of striking out on food. And we think we can get some pulled pork and barbecue chicken along with some fruits and veggie trays for about $400. I may also look at getting an additional thing of mac and cheese too, just in case somebody's a vegetarian and wants to show up. So I think we have food set, so probably around $450 total for food, which is within the budget we currently have. And then what else do I got?
Chris, may I ask a question about that? Did they say how many people that would feed?
I said we were aiming for about 30 to 50.
Okay.
And it seems like they're comfortable with that. I think if we get more than that, that's amazing. We'll just have to plan accordingly next year. So.
Okay.
What else? I am confirming with our Parks and Rec team that we have speakers, physical PA systems for that. I'm also confirming that we have lawn games, other such things to use during the event. Amina has been working and identified a speaker. She sent information to them to both Gail and I.
And that is Ed Jenkins. We just have to finalize the time that he wants to speak. And I would say not right at 6. I'm thinking, I just sent a text to Amina to find out what time he would like to speak.
Great.
I'm hoping around 6:30 or 7. We want him to speak when we have the majority of the crowd there.
So we have the speaker, I think, mostly confirmed. Until I have a contract in hand, I don't want to say confirmed, but sounds like a great individual there. He does, I think, young storytelling for children. Specifically, he has a podcast on Juneteenth, so it should be a really cool opportunity for somebody to sort of tell that story. I think one of the things we wanted to chat about too, if the CEC has anything we want him to speak directly on. Again, I think he seems like a very creative storyteller, very capable person at that. But if there's anything specifically that we want, either we can sort of chat through that now, or you can just email us or email me ideas as we get closer to the event too.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Any thoughts, commissioners, on what we would like him to address or speak on? I do know from his podcast, Talking to Children, it was right in line where he talks about Juneteenth, but, for him to start out telling about himself and what he does would help lead into that. So, I think what he has done already is pretty much what we would like him to talk about. Any thoughts on that?
Quick comment. I have seen in events like this, storytelling, especially personal storytelling, carries a lot of weight. So I've not seen his podcast or even heard his podcast, but his experiences and storytelling would go a long way.
Right. Okay.
My only comment would have been, and I think you've addressed it, is he accessible to families, to kids, when he explains and educates? And it sounds like he very much is.
He works with a lot of kids. I think he has a ministry also with children. So it sounds like he knows how to connect with them. Yes.
Wonderful. We can take that direction in. work with Amina, with him,
Okay.
so.
And I can finalize that with Commissioner Agawamba also, to make sure that that's the direction we're going. I had another question in regards to food. Now, I had mentioned 2 other places, but their cost came out to $650 or more for 50 people. I know Commissioner Agawamba also mentioned the Afro Deli in Minneapolis and another one, but I have no idea how much those would cost. So, you know, for is it Mystic or the Mdewakanton tribe?
Yeah.
That is, we're looking at, what, $350, around $350? I think that's a good deal.
Yeah. Chair and Commission, I think that's probably the best deal. I know Afro Deli is, I love them, it's delicious. I think they'd probably be a little bit more. Also, this kind of keeps the money close to the community, and I think kind of aligns with the city's goals of supporting BIPOC businesses. So I think this is a great opportunity. Kind of to that point, we'd probably want maybe a motion to move forward with, let me get the actual name of them.
The other concern I had with food is, do they have a way to keep it heated? Do they bring it, do we pick it up? Do they deliver? Do we have a way to keep it warm? And I'm thinking we do need some support or help serving it. I don't think we want people just going in, taking things themselves.
Chair and Commission, they would not be able to deliver it to us. We'd have to go pick it up. I think I could work with staff to coordinate that. They're actually, it's the Taste of Shakopee that day. So they were not available until I kind of said we can do these extra steps to make this happen. I can follow up with staff, just kind of what actual serving looks like. Again, I plan to be there if maybe that's something I need to do. I don't have too many worries about people serving themselves, but I think we can sort of talk about what that functionally, what it looks like too.
Okay.
So,
All right, thank you. As far as, did you mention activities, Chris?
I did not mention it. Well, I mentioned that we were looking at lawn games. I think the plan was to have, introduction, mayor speaking, and then the speaker specifically, and then have some lawn games, have the library stuff. So we're going to look at that too. I think it'll be a great opportunity there in that sort of front yard, or that yard facing the lake at the ELC. So I don't know if there's additional conversation that we need about the activities tonight.
Yes, we probably need to talk about that.
Oh.
Also, were we able to talk to Mr. Boatman about any games or activities they have through Parks and Recs that we could use?
Madam Chair and Commission, I'm still waiting to hear back from that. That's something we'll work with them on. I think we have stuff to work on, work with there, but I think we have some. I know personally I have a bunch of stuff too that my wife wouldn't mind if I took out of my garage for a day and brought over.
And I know I have things from kids to bring too.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about activities like coloring tables. I don't know about face painting, if we can find someone to do that. That might be a little bit more involved right now. But I think we have a number of things here listed.
My concern would be if there's rain that day, we want to make sure we have enough indoor activities to still, like if the Parks and Rec activities are outdoor activities, that we do have some indoor options. And there is somebody I know that's gone to events, an art teacher from the Prior Lake District. I don't know if she would be available, but I don't know if there's a fee for that, for face painting. But it also talked about the possibility of reaching out to Burnsville or Prior Lake Savage to see if one of their student affinity groups
yes.
might want to create an educational table or two on that day. I don't know, school will be out by then, but they have traditionally done events on Juneteenth, even if it was gathering food to donate, that sort of thing.
Who would we contact for that?
I believe in Prior Lake, you could ask Sam Oak for the
Okay.
contact.
Okay, yeah, we can check with him. You mentioned a food drive too. I wonder if that's a little too much right now with all of this.
Right, I just mean that's what they would do on district property each
Okay.
year.
Okay, good. All right. Any other points that we're missing before we discuss this again in June for the final, to say, hey, this is all ready to go, this is what everyone's doing. Any other, yes, Commissioner Schultz.
So, a couple of questions here. So, for the food option, for those who are maybe, I know you mentioned mac and cheese for those who are vegetarian, but even in terms of like those who are vegan, do we have anything like a fruit salad, or is that something we can have an option for those who don't consume meat?
Chair and Commission, we will have vegetables available, and we'll have fruit there too. So I think we have that covered.
All right, thank you. My other question was, so for the activities, if it's outdoor, and what are your thoughts on maybe having, if the police department is available to be, maybe we'll be there and like maybe do activities with the kids outdoors. It may be a good opportunity for, community building. If the fire department is available, they can bring the fire truck and have the kids, be in the fire truck and just build community, and that maybe is something we can explore in terms of community
We can
activities.
certainly ask.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt. to
Chair and
ask.
Commission, that is a great idea. I don't know why I didn't think of it yet.
Well, hence the coffee here. I think
Yes.
that's helpful.
Yeah, I bet they would love to
Yes.
show up. And keep in mind, there is a shelter on the outside, too. If we need to set up some activities out there, if it's raining, we can use that area. So, okay, anything else that we, communication, advertising, marketing. What's our plan there?
Chair and Commission, so we will be finalizing the newsletter tomorrow. Now that I have, so the final time, just to be clear, is 6 to 8. I just want to confirm that. Seeing head nods, wonderful. We will be putting that out, so that'll go to all, everyone in Savage through the newsletter. We will also then have a pretty robust communications campaign. I already chatted with Emily a little bit today about that. She's very excited. So I think we'll get a little bit nervous. I think we'll get a lot of people who have an interest in it. So, but yeah, I think we have a really good plan moving forward. And they'll start having a lot of stuff out into the world about this. We'll also reach out to other communities too. So Burnsville, Shakopee, Apple Valley, kind of the surrounding spots, and let them know about this event too.
Good, great. And then we were going to have background music playing. Who's going to select the music?
Chair and Commission, we have the Spotify bots do it, or if there's specific requests too, we can do that.
Okay. Maybe people can just email you with thoughts, that music that might fit into that day. Keep in mind what the day is about. And music that is good for kids to hear too. I know they have their music and they want to hear certain music, but we got to watch what we're playing. So, all right. Yes, Commissioner.
I do think Spotify has built-in Juneteenth playlists. I don't know if they're like, if they list age appropriate, that sort of thing.
Chair and Commission, I'm really looking at a Juneteenth playlist right now on
Yep.
Spotify.
Yeah. But what I wanted to ask about is, on the chance that we are going to get a lot of people and we're going from 6 to 8, is there any chance we want to like go to a big box store and get boxes of chips or something to have in the back room that's inexpensive, so that if in the first 20 minutes the catered food is gone and we do have a good turnout, is there anything inexpensive we could supplement with?
Chair and Commission, I think that's something that we kind of have to decide day of. I think if that does happen, we will do exactly that. We'll go get some box chips, maybe some sodas, pretzels, stuff to keep people at least not rioting with us. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And did you need a motion? I'm sorry.
Just a
Chair and
quick
Commission,
question.
oh, sorry.
Is there a registration, or we just wait for people to show up?
Yeah.
Chair and Commission, I think wait for people to show up. I think registration seems like one more obstacle to put in place for people. I think just be out there. I think we'll get a good turnout. You're out in the community, tell your neighbors. I think we'll have staff show up. So I think we'll have a good turnout.
Yeah, all the ones I've attended, there is no registration. They just want everyone to show up if
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
Yes. And did you ask that, are we having a motion to?
Did you suggest we needed a motion
Chair
for the
Commission-
food purchase from?
I would ask that you make a motion approving a food purchase from Native Harvest, let's say up to $500. Doesn't mean we have to do it, but if we get these additional quotes and all of a sudden we get around there, then we can fall back on that approval from this group. Looking at the total budget the CEC has for kind of the projects they're looking at, that would still have a remaining $170, even if we got to that $500 amount. So you still have a little budget left for the year.
And another point of interest, so is this going to include water, pop, whatever else we're getting for drinks?
Chair Commission, this does not include water, pop. I think we'll probably just get some water and stuff. I think staff can find that in our budget.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion to accept, what's the name of the company again?
Native Harvest.
Native Harvest Catering.
Okay, Native Heart. Do we have a motion to accept Native Heart for the food vendor for the Juneteenth?
What's the name of the vendor again? Chair?
Native, is it Native Heart?
Native Harvest Catering.
Oh, Harvest.
Okay.
Native Harvest Catering.
Commissioner Schultz, I make a motion to approve $500 worth of food expenses from Native Harvest Foods for the Juneteenth event this year.
Commissioner Ahmed, I second it.
That was a second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, is there anything else as far as Juneteenth before we move on to our next item?
Chair, I do.
Yes.
Just minor. So for the music selection, I know you're looking at the Juneteenth Spotify. In an effort to engage the community, are we able to maybe have people give some the music ideas, song ideas to the city, maybe on Facebook or somehow to kind of get the community more involved and interactive? It's something that I just came to my mind. The other thing is for the marketing, can we make it maybe multi-generational where we have also, I know the city has done a lot of campaigns where they involve staff. Can we have maybe kids also involved in the Juneteenth advertisement as well, or families? Something I think can have also spark more interest is something that came to my mind as well. And also for the when you're doing the marketing, if we can also, I know a school will be out at that time, but if we can, I don't know how it is, can we send this out to schools? How does that work, Chris? Or did you mention that? Maybe I missed that, sorry.
I did not mention that specifically, but that's a good point. We'll also reach with our community partners in the schools to get that to them directly and have them disperse within their processes and systems to staff members and all the families. So we found great success through the MLK essay contest that way, so hopefully this will spark some interest too.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right, anything else?
Chair and Commission, one more note. I have on the June agenda also just a final time, an opportunity for this group to check in on any sort of final conversations. I will actually be out of the country at that time, but Emily will be here. And then we also have a new management fellow that's starting next Monday. She also named Emily. She will also be here. So we'll have a continuity if there's any sort of questions and stuff that come.
Okay, thank you. All right. Moving on, our next item is the discussion of the Dan Patch Days participation. And Chris, would you like to talk about that?
Wonderful. So within the Ready Report, kind of being involved, sort of community experience, sense of safety, diverse representation, connection to community, and meaning and support to BIPOC businesses was identified as priorities. As part of that, the CEC has tried to be out in the community to sort of tell the story, build that connection, create that sense of community experience and sense of safety. One of the things we intended to do last year, probably the year before too, because I think the CEC was around, was table at the Dan Patch Days event. For the last 2 years, as you all know, it has been canceled due to weather. So we're hoping that this year, June 26th to 29th is when it's scheduled. That's later than it has been, so hopefully we won't have some of the water problems we've had in prior years there. So I kind of had some questions for the CEC. First is, does the CEC wish to table at the event? Kind of specifically, I think we targeted the Taste of Savage time that year. That's that Saturday from 4 p.m. That's kind of when you get the most people down at Dan Patch. And then if you want to table at the event, what's an activity that you want to do there? I think last year we were going to ask specific questions about the community and equity and diversity. We ended up doing that at the Welcome Week table, but just you could do it again, or if there's something else we want to look into there. And then what days does the CEC? I don't think that's necessary. I think we probably want to focus on that Saturday. So I think those are kind of two big questions. Do you want to participate? And then if you want to table, what does the CEC want to do?
Okay, that is opening it up to commissioners to talk about. Do we want a table there? And if so, what would that look like? And what would the purpose of it be? And
So this would be Saturday, June 28th, is that correct, the date?
Chair and Commission, that is correct.
Okay. So I have a related question. I think the Dan Patch Days is a great way of connecting with the community and also to get feedback and input. Now, I know the city has, like, Let's Talk Savage and so on and so forth. But I thought if we have an opportunity just to hear from the members what they like about Savage and what do they want to do with the stuff that they have. Do they have any recommendations and so on and so forth. Just a dialogue. I wouldn't make it too complicated. I think having our banner and showing that we are an established commission, I think goes a long ways. Mm-hmm. And so my thought was just to ask the question, how long have you lived here and how do you like it so far? You tell me why you stay and what things we'd like to see. Something to that effect.
so it's more of a question gathering for us from anyone we talk to that stops by the table. Is that correct?
Yes, and the reason why I'm asking it is if you immediately dive into a question about equity or this and that, I don't think that's going to be as open or as fruitful. So I think it's more a dialogue about life in Savage and how you're doing, and I would also ask, how do you like to get involved? Who do you know, and see if we will meet a few future commission members in the process.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Ahmed, for that. I would add, because they've done a survey, I would add that it's important to ask a question around equity, because that's what we are. And we can talk about what that question would look like, because it could be about, do you feel that we're supporting people from different cultures? There's lots of ways to ask questions that are around equity, and I think that has to be asked as a question.
And I think the key point that I don't have an answer yet is filling out a sheet and asking them to fill it out on paper as opposed to just having a conversation. My thought was just to have a conversation. And not a formal, here's 5 questions, you go fill it out, was really what I was thinking.
We would be taking the notes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you have someone taking the notes, people are more free to answer versus, I have to write this down. So that could be a thought.
Chair.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Commissioner Nelson. And I think also you can also do that in terms of I know there's the spin the wheel, or so there could be some kind of an interactive also game, something you can ask a question and have them interact. I don't know what that would look like too in terms of having people kind of open up. Sometimes that can also help too as you're having conversations. So I don't know how that would look like too. And could say equity it's so broad. It could be disability. It could be are we not using closed captioning? Are we do you have access to like our parks in the community? Are you, the newsletter, are you able to, comprehend what's being asked of, when you're receiving that in the mail too? So finding a way to ask that in, there's race, there's, diversity in terms of like city staff. So having those questions, and we can come up with that too as we get closer to what does that look like. And, there's way, how do we involve like, because we have like seniors, we have students, we have, so all the different generations that are here in Savage too, is how can we elicit responses from them?
Good point. And it's good to, sometimes you have to pinpoint the question, but sometimes you want to leave it open to see where their mind is, and not lead them into the answer. So, yes. Okay, go ahead. Commissioner Nelson.
A couple thoughts. I like the idea of the conversations. I'm wondering if, I'm trying to picture what a table at Dan Patch looks like, but if behind us we might have a few bright, colorful poster boards, one or two like open-ended questions, something to do with, how have you celebrated, different cultures or anything like that, or just something more general or something equity-based, however the commission decides. It might be nice to have when we were at the farmer's market and we were having quizzes.
Welcome week.
That was a little hard, but what if we had a bright did you know poster that there are X number of languages spoke, and these are the communities that make up Savage, and that sort of like conversation sparks. And then even for kids, based on how many languages are spoken, learn a new word, pick a language, we'll teach you a new word, and it could be city or Savage or student or joy or whatever, but might that just be a cute way to, hey, do you want to learn a new word that you can go around and say, I don't know what it would be, but I'm just trying to think of really easy ways to get someone excited about something without having to be real formal or quiz them. And maybe the wheel is another way to do that as well. But like just big exciting. Did you know X, Y, Z? And have you thought about A and B? And
Good suggestion.
I love that.
Right. Ooh, we're on a roll here. Yes.
So, kind of building on what Commissioner Ahmed said, I want to say in part of a conversation, we need to say to the people, what can we do better? Right? We need to make that a very clear point. What would you like us to do? What can we do better? What are your concerns? Because I know on the surveys, a lot of times they don't necessarily have free form. And really, we're here to be the voice of the people from wherever we live. So that's one thing we definitely would want to talk to people about while we're there. And secondly, for the table, I do think we should really highlight some of the things we've done and accomplished, because we've been around for a few years, and I don't necessarily know if people know what we do, what we've done. And I know we have a handout that says kind of who we are, what we do, but it's another thing to read that, and it's another thing to read or see something like, oh, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this.
Thank you for sharing that. That's another good lots of good suggestions.
So
Yes.
bringing it back to the main question, are we agreeing that we want a booth?
Say, Chair and Commission, what I'm hearing is that you want a booth, Saturday probably, and that you have some great ideas for what to have at the booth.
And how long would we need to keep the booth going? What time frame?
Chair and Commission, what I heard last year was that it's pretty flexible. I think that's one where we want to talk about availability. It seems like the Taste of Savage starts at 4, so I don't know if that's something you would want to be there from, like, let's say 4 to 8. That seems like a pretty doable amount of staffing from a volunteer group, so I think that would make sense to me. I have not, unfortunately, been to the event yet, so I don't know if it's like busy in the morning or busy later on, kind of when the strategic time to be there is, but kind of everything I've heard is that Taste of Savage is when a lot of the people come, and I think there's live music at 8 something, so that's probably when you get people wandering in, kind of poking around, seeing what's going on. So as of right now, I think probably the plan will be looking at that Saturday from 4 till 8, if that seems good from this group.
If we have enough people to man it, because I think we should do rotation again, like 2-hour stints or something like that, then we can do it. If we don't have enough volunteers to do it the full time, then we have to look at different hours here.
Yep. Or maybe that's where we start. Maybe that's, because it sounds like there's an interest in doing tabling, I could send out a calendar, not reminder, availability request, and then we kind of know what our staffing is, kind of build that model from there.
Yes, you did that for Welcome Week, and I think that worked out
really well.
so, yes, okay, thank you. All right, anything else with Dan Patch?
I think so, just kind of we're planning to move forward with tabling. I will send out the calendar invite. I'll kind of look at some of these items already to see what we can build. Again, I think this is something we'll talk about at the next meeting. Emily and the Emilys will be able to help sort of like get those final items pulled together, and then we'll have a week or two before the event. So very comfortable with this timeline.
Do we need to make a motion that we are going to participate in this?
Chair and Commission, I don't think we do.
Good.
I think it's just more of a do you want to or not sort of situation, so.
All right, thank you. So moving on to our last item, discussion on the new resident welcome letter and window decal.
All right, Chair and Commission, our communications staff has been working diligently to pull together welcome material, both for our residential properties and our businesses. This aligns with our intention that came from the Ready Work Plan to kind of be inviting and open to the communities. Also, some of the items that were actually listed in our work plan for this year, or the Ready Report, also items listed in our work plan for this year. So excited to see movement on this. So what this letter kind of highlights is fostering a personal connection to the people who receive it, increasing civic engagement, improving transparency and trust, and enhancing community pride. So we really want this to both tell our story of who we are, show that we're inviting, also just help residents who are moving in and help businesses who are moving in. So we think this is a really good opportunity to do all of those things. This will be mailed quarterly to all new households. So we provide utilities to residents, water, sewer. So when people move in, they then call us and switch over their name. So this will then go out the next quarter to them. We think that's a great little first touch from the city, other than just getting your billing set up. So this will go out to those people. Recognizing that a lot of our renters do not switch utilities over, we're also going to be providing these to apartment building owners and property management companies, hopefully so they can then provide those when their units turn over there too. Kind of broadly, what we just wanted to look at is have the CEC look these over and see if there's anything that we're maybe missing, anything else we want. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of space to work with, and we've kind of condensed it to what we think would work best for everybody. Again, a lot more pictures and very quick sort of language, but I just really wanted to get this for the CEC. I also want to do a big shout out to the communications team. This looks great. I was very excited to see it, so.
Yes, Commissioner Nelson.
I would like to echo what you said. Congratulations to the communications team. I love the branding and how it matches between the sticker and the flyer. My only thought from the CEC point of view is that I'm wondering if the big picture on back, perhaps above the mayor's photo, is there any chance we have any other group photos that have a little more, I don't know if it's diversity, but just the front side has a little more diversity on it, and then in the back it's not quite represented as well. And that picture's just so big and whole. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, though.
I thank you for sharing that, because I just looked at that. I love the brochure on the front side, the welcome
Right.
to, I love the places to go, and you've got some history here too. Camp Savage, you have the parks, you have the sports center, McCall, I mean, you're covering everything. And then the activity that you're talking about, it's at a park, and it looks like it's during some celebration and someone's taking chips out of a bag, but I believe this might be at Treats and Tunes maybe, but it's showing just a certain group of people.
Chair and Commissioner, I'll pass that comment on and see if they have other photos they can use.
Okay.
I have a
right.
couple of comments. First and foremost, I really applaud the city for doing this. I love the greeting from the mayor, and she chose three different languages. I thought changes and positioning starts from the top, and to have that be included from the mayor, I think speaks volumes. I really like that. There is a phone number here, so the only thought I had was if this is targeted towards a new resident, a lot of times having a name might help. If you have any questions, please call so-and-so at this number. That makes it a little bit more really personal. And I don't think we're going to get a lot of phone calls, but it just makes it a little bit more easier if you assign somebody's name. I really like also some of the highlights that you have, the trails and the farmers market, library, and so forth. And the feels like home. I'd like to get some of those stickers myself, so I can put it up. Very well done. Thank you.
Anything else to share about the window decal or the welcome letter? Chris, did you, oh, yes, Commissioner Schultz.
Yeah, so this is great. One thing I can add is, so I see, I missed, so I see the QR code here. So does that, when you scan that, does that bring you to the city page, or what does the QR code bring you to?
I'm trying it. Open City of Savage. It goes to City of Savage page.
Okay. So, and so this one in the back here, Chris, that has, is this a decal, or this is part of the newsletter? The one that has places to go?
Chair and Commissioner, the back will be a window decal. So it can go in your car, go on your window at your home, kind of anywhere that kind of has glass.
Okay. So is it, and this might be a reach, but is it possible to have these in different languages where, like, if you scan the QR code, it can, I don't know how, is that an option to, like, because I know it's just not necessarily like everything for the city of Savage, but just like what's the basic information that's on here. Is it possible to have this translated into different languages so that if you're scanning this and like it says, oh, welcome, and it's in Spanish, and so you can see this in Spanish as well, or you can see this in Somali, or you can see this in a different language. Is it something we can add?
Chair and Commissioner, I think the intention of the QR code is that if you scan it, it goes to the website, Google Translate should have already, hopefully the settings kind of has been made so it translates those sites, or will ask you. I can ask communications if we can have that detail. I do think we're limited in space.
So not necessarily like having this in like all languages, but like when you scan the QR code or somewhere on here where you can scan this and then you can have this information on here in your native language.
Commissioner, you're speaking, so you'd have like a QR code that says scan here for this in Somali, scan here for this in Spanish.
Because like if I'm reading this and I'm like, and I see this, I'm like, oh wow, I can see it's welcome in Spanish, but I can't read what the mayor is saying.
Yeah.
So I can see the mayor smiling, I can see it's a happy picture, but to me, it may not, I don't know what it's saying to me.
Yeah.
And so if they can see, oh, this is how you go to your meeting. And so at least just having that basic information as a new resident is helpful, because then you can know like where to even start.
Yeah. I can suggest it to communications. I think that, again, the one challenge is just space. So the more, if we added more QR codes, I think we'd just run into that issue quickly and we'd have to cut other stuff. So, but I can mention it to them.
Okay. Any other comments? Yes.
Commissioner John Grass just pointed out that in smaller print at the bottom, next to the greeting from Mayor Kelly, it does say that if you go to the website, you can translate. even though it may not include, I don't know if we have a page for new residents, but if we do we have a new residents page or what you need to know when you move? If we do, maybe the mayor's message could be added there because then and maybe we could, I mean, would it help to enlarge that bottom small text? But if you don't read English, I don't know if that helps. But it does point out there, and I didn't see it until he shared, that if you go to our website, here's how you read it in a different language.
Chair and Commissioner, I will make those comments to them. I think maybe increasing that size could work. Again, I think we may run into space issues, but I think that'd be a good comment, or maybe we move that QR code down there. So we'll see if there's a little bit of play there.
Thank you for those suggestions. Any others? Okay, thank you, Chris, for sharing that.
Very nice.
All right. Oh, yes, one more.
One more question, Chris, sorry. Will this also be available here, like at City Hall, when you come in to like pay your bill with this, will that be available too? Or like by the library too, they have all those newsletters, or you can pick up if that can be available too?
Chair and Commission, I think that's the plan. I will confirm that. Another great suggestion.
Thanks.
All right. Seeing no other questions, we'll move on to our informational updates. Chris?
All right. Chair and Commission, I did want to start, so we have a couple listed. I did want to provide an update on the weapons incident at Riverbend Park. I did send out some additional information earlier this week to this group, but I also just wanted to mention it here. As our press release says, on Sunday at around 9, the police did respond to a weapons incident at Riverbend Park. There were some weapons shown. Luckily, nothing happened. But, understandably, the community is fearful and was worried about this. So we responded, and basically, I just wanted to sort of talk through kind of what the next step is with that. So we're not removing anything. I think what we did, I think kind of meets some of the needs of the community, is we put one of those police surveillance trailers at a nearing property that kind of have eyes on the whole park. We believe that should hopefully reduce the likelihood that those individuals kind of come back to the park and participate in the way they were. We've also increased patrols around that too. So I just wanted to get this information from the EC. I think right now that's kind of where we're at from the city as a holding pattern. One of the things we've asked residents to do is if they see something that looks out of the ordinary, so if you see a lot of people gathering, if they're not just playing basketball, there's noises are increasing, call the police. It's something that even just having a squad swing by, they'll be strategic, they'll be intentional about that. It just kind of lets us keep eyes and keeps a presence there. So I wanted to just mention that to the CEC based on the past history at this park, and then just kind of open it up if there's any questions that you think you need from us. We've heard from a number of residents. I think generally they've been very receptive to kind of what these steps are right now.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Okay, any questions? All right, well, Commissioner Schultz.
Yeah, quick question. So, Chris, would you say, have you heard largely from like businesses or neighbors, or is there a way to kind of, quantify like where the feedback is coming from?
Yeah, I think we just heard from some of the neighbors that live close to the parks. Just again, there was kind of more of a, did you hear about this thing? And then reaching out to us saying, okay, this happened, what's the city doing? And I think the strategic nature of communications, getting this out quick and early and kind of with strong next steps, I think was well received.
Okay. Anything else? All right, we'll move on to the next item for Chris.
All right. I'm switching gears. Treats and Tunes, Canterbury Park, May 20th from 6 to 8 p.m. We have the Savage Police Open House, May 31st from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have the Rotary Peace Pole installation at 6:15, June 17th at Riverbend Park. And then we also have, I just received an email. There's a Wake Up Savage event that will be here at City Hall on May 29th at 8 a.m. The topic is Meet the Chiefs, both PD and fire. This is in partnership with the Chamber of Commerce. Commission members can sign up for free. Members of the public can sign up for $10. So I will also send this out to the commissioners if you want to attend, both me, Chief Jewell and Chief Bresenhan too. So one more thing out there too. That's what I have for updates. Just a reminder too, I will be out next month, but Emily will be here. I'm planning to have Brady or Chief Jewell present the 2024 police annual report here, and then we have some follow-up conversations for both Dan Patch and also Juneteenth. So I think we will still have a busy calendar or busy agenda for that day. So that's what I have for staff updates.
Thank you. And I believe for the Rotary Peace Poll, I believe that's 6:30 instead of 6:15. Is that correct, on June 17th?
Yes, the date is correct. The time, we had talked about 6:30, but time will be very, very tight because at the park, the Trees and Tudes starts at 6 o'clock. And I think Greg Boatman said that we will actually take some time to install the pole first before the celebrations and all that. So I don't know how you guys feel, 6:30 or 6:15.
Okay.
I'd say go with 6:30 so we're consistent across the board.
All right. Thank you. Do the commissioners have anything to share?
I have a question.
Oh, question, yes.
So with the recent event at Riverbend Park, does that change this project on the 17th? Is there, or has anything, or everything is still going as planned?
Chair and Commission, that's a great question. We kind of had that conversation internally. We don't think it changes anything. I think it's important. It just shows why we need to do it. I think having the members of the community out there installing this pole, again, brings additional attention to this, and I think supports where we're going with this park. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. And I do have something to share. Actually, through Commissioner Nelson, I saw that there was going to be a South of the River LGBTQ listening session. And I did attend on May 6th, and it was held over at the New Spirit United Church of Christ, which is over by Target. And I went just as a community member, but also being on the commission, I wanted to hear how people are feeling. And it was very informative, very organized. People were at different tables. There were certain questions, I think 3 questions. And what they were trying to find out is how do LGBTQ community members feel about living south of the river, in the south of the metro. And there were representatives there from Apple Valley, Savage, Shakopee, you know, everything south of the river. And it was very informative, good to hear people share what they're feeling and how their experiences are going south of the river. And they put together a whole list, I was really impressed, of places, businesses, companies that they felt comfortable working with. And I thought it was really powerful. And it really complemented a lot of businesses that we have out here, that we have south of the metro, where people felt they could go to and be comfortable. They even listed bars and all these other places. So it was good to hear. And as a commission, I just wanted to share that because this is part of what we're about, is trying to make sure everyone's included and feeling comfortable. So it was informative. And then I did receive an email from the lead person, Obi, I forgot his last name. He's a minister, actually with the UCC Church. And he has started, I think, 3 years ago, a group called PRISM, and is to support the LGBTQ community and make sure that there are support systems out there for them. So I just want to let you know that, and I did share that I was a community member and a part of a commission, the Equity Commission. They said, "Oh, thank you for being here." So that felt good. So, all right, anything else that anyone has to share? All right, well, if there is nothing, I believe we are looking for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I want to note that this is exactly 7 o'clock, so you did wonderful.
Hey, okay, do we have a motion to adjourn so we don't go a minute further?
Grass would make a motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Ahmed, second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned.
1 o'clock.
It just turned to 7:01.
Hi, I'm the cable company.
And I'm Your City. Over the years, the cable company and I have made agreements to give them access to my streets so they can provide a state-of-the-art cable system to
Me, a resident of your city.
That's right. And in return for those agreements, Cable Company provides funding that I can use for many critical things, such as
Me, your local community cable channel. I connect the city to every resident. As access to local newspapers have dwindled, I'm one of the few sources for local information, like city and school board meetings, local events, special programming, and local information you can't find anywhere else.
and the funding and local channels that we receive in return for our agreement with Cable Company are so important in keeping my residents informed and engaged.
It's a fantastic way for local residents to stay in touch with their community. So thank you, Your City and Cable Company, for providing funding for local channel and for providing me with the diversity of information that strengthens our community.
Log on to learn more about what your local cable channel does for your community.
To be in the picture.